I'm just gonna check so you can hear me all right. Yes, you can. Okay. Hi, welcome back to this very chill coffee stream that we're gonna have today. I've actually been so busy today that I haven't had any coffee yet. So this is my first cup of coffee today. So cheers, guys. I was thinking this stream is gonna be a very calm, chatty stream. We just chat, hang out together, maybe do some energy readings, some healing, and just be, you know. Before we start, I would like to thank Pegacross for the donation in between streams. And I just saw when I started the stream that you donated, so I will get back to you with your, well, so that we can come together and decide upon how to do about your session, so that you can get your session. And I would also like to thank Icy Dragon 2000 for following. So welcome to the community. This is what happened in between streams. So welcome and thank you so much. So today we are simply gonna have a calm stream, just like I said. We are still dealing with extortion, and this is why you haven't seen me for a while, and why it's been upside down in scheduling. And you know this if you follow this. We have started a Discord channel, or a Discord server for different channel. Do join there if you feel like it. We would love to see you there. You can find it all down below or in the information tab, depending on what platform you're using or what kind of, if there's a phone or a laptop or where you're watching this. If this is on YouTube, then you can head on over to Twitch for you what is out there, and you'll find the link there. I think there's also, I did a video where I welcomed you to Discord, and in the description of that video, you can also find a link, I think. But yeah, Twitch is the best bet. So how are you guys doing today? I'm gonna wait for some people to join, but I can, for you Photosefte, and for, just like always, I can't really tell if anyone's here or not quite as yet. Hi guys, welcome. And yes, as I said that, I saw someone sneak a peek. Welcome. So yeah, I was gonna tell you what has been going on and what has happened. And if you follow us on Discord, you know that we have had, or you knew that there was a badger in our house. So it came home, and this was last Friday. So not this Friday last, but the Friday before that. We got home very late. Actually, it was the very same day that we created the Discord server. I'm just gonna check so you can hear me all right. Yes, you can. Okay. It was the very same day that we created the Discord server. We got home very late after doing some administration work in the office. And are we listening to a lullaby right now? I love it. I'm gonna let it be. We keep it. So we got home very late, and we opened the door. I opened the front door, and I wonder, what has the cats been up to? You know what? And I said has because I was thinking about one cat in particular. But what have the cats been up to? What have they been doing now? Because they were garbage, you know, from the kitchen, our recycling bins. They were all over the floor. And then I could hear the sound, and I could count all the cats in and realize that's not them making that scraping sound. So we did have a badger in our shower. And Bumpus went in, my fiance, he went in, but he didn't really want to get too close to them because you really do have to keep some distance and have some respect, you know, for these creatures that are large like dogs and strong as bears. So he thought it was just a small one because for once it came in via the cat flap. And second off, he could just see the top of the snout. And he thought that it looked like the youngsters do with their, because they were black and white and striped, the youngsters look like that all over. but the snout on the adult ones looked like that. So he thought this would be a young one. And then, but we still left the building, we left our house. We couldn't really go in. Hi guys, welcome. We couldn't really, enter the house because it was a little bit scary. And keep in mind, this was rather late. We were home at about, it's not that late, but for a working day, we were home around 11 p.m. And we couldn't enter our house because of the badger taking over. And so we just collected all the cats and put them outdoors. And we were outdoors and we closed the door and we locked the cat flap. And then we called my Bemper's grandfather and said, "What are we gonna do?" So he said, "All right, I'll come and help," which was so beautiful of him because remember, this was quite late. Oh, Pagacries, hi! I saw your donation just as I started the stream. Thank you so much for your donation. I will get back to you so that you and I can figure out how you would like your session. And I will do so via email, but I just saw when I started the stream of your donation, so thank you so much. And I will get back to you via email. How are you today? I'm just telling the story of the badger. As I know you and several other people join us on Discord. If you're not joined on Discord, feel free to do so. It's a way for us to interact even when we're not streaming. And because of dealing with the exhaustion, as you know, and all that is going on, and also because I've actually got quite a lot of clients and I'm so thrilled and so happy. But because of this, we might not always be streaming. And therefore, Discord is a beautiful opportunity. But we are telling the story, or I'm telling the story of the badger. And if you joined us on Discord, then you know about this story because it was the very same night that we created the Discord server that we found the badger in a house. So after making sure that everyone was outside, we went ahead and we drove to Bemper's grandfather's house, and we picked him up, and he came back with us, and he entered the house thinking that it was a youngster because Bemper said that, remember? And he had been in the living room because we heard the noises coming from the living room when we left. Now he was back. He'd gone back into the shower. So entering the bathroom, he was a little bit shocked, I think, because it was not a youngster. It was a fully adult badger in a shower. So he closed the shower doors, the cabinets, as you call it in Swedish. I think it's the same in English. He closed the doors on the badger, and we just watched him for a while, and he was so beautiful. But obviously we wanted him and everyone to be safe because they're scary, and understandably so, because of not really having any good sight, and not, I think he also had no hearing, so all he had was his smell. And if he felt threatened by something, he would hit until it's dead. That's what they do, which is understandable if you can imagine how they view the world. But also because it's just going into winter, it's time for him to find some place warm and safe to sleep through the winter. And he found this house. It had an open cat flap because the cats had managed to kept it open instead of it closing behind them. It's dead open, and he could just walk in. It'd take a squeeze, but Badger's used for that. So he had squeezed through the cat flap, and there he found warmth, he found food, he found water from drinking from the shower drain. And because he didn't actually touch the cat's food or the cat's water, but he found a source of water. So he was fine, and he actually even used the cat litter box. So as we stood there in front of the tower and watching this beautiful creature, and he behaved just like a cat would. he got up on his back legs, his hind legs, and he put his claws on the glass, watching us like, could I please get out now? And when we didn't open the doors, he sat back down and he went to sit in the corner. And there on top we have all these, well, you know, all the shampoo and the soap and all of it being stored in a shelf on the, well, it's a shelving, you can say, in the shower. And he was interested in those, and he had all of them come down upon him, and I didn't do anything. He just, okay, it's falling bottles and plastic all over me. But that's fine. Or maybe he was, of course, he was a little bit frightened. But there he was in the shower and just watching us, being so gentle, and he had had access to the entire house, and he hadn't gone into anything else than what he found was food. So he hadn't touched anything, and he hadn't destroyed anything, he hadn't moved anything. Even my guitar that was simply stood against the wall in the living room with no other support, he hadn't touched that, I hadn't touched anything. And he had used the cat litter box. And you could tell by the smell, because they are partly skunk, or they belong to the skunk family, they had this odor about them. And because he had been there for a couple of hours, probably, you could sense him having been there for a while. It smells a little bit like nicotine, I would say. Not too bad, but you could sense that he's been there for a while. And it wasn't that he had marked or anything, because the only thing he used was the cat litter box, like I said. So we simply had him, we built this, well, we had large, what's it called, but large plastic sheets that we simply put going all the way from the front door, because we only had one door at our house, from the front door leading through the kitchen into the bathroom. And then we simply had Bempe's grandfather, he had his high boots on, and he, not high heel boots, that would be a sight. Oh, I would love to see that, but very high boots at the legs, so he was protected. And then he went with a box simply after the badger all the way out, and the badger didn't do nothing but trying to find his way out. So that went so well, and it was amazing that none of the cats were harmed and that we were not harmed. He could have just waltzed in there and said, okay, it's comfortable, it's warm, there's food and water, I'll take this as mine and I'll kill whatever is here, because there's in their instincts. But he didn't, and two of the cats were outdoors when we got home, complaining that something's off, but our third cat was indoors with the badger, and it was amazing that it went so well as it did. But the story does not end there. We were then home, because this was on Friday, or the Friday, not last Friday, but the Friday before that. We were home Saturday, and then on Sunday we went away again to practice driving with said grandfather. He does so much for us, and he wanted us to come and practice driving, so we did. Or I wanted to practice, and he wanted to help us. And he's done this many times before. Of course, as you are assigned, you know who can teach you and or instruct you. But so we went there, and we were away maybe for 4 hours, and we returned in the afternoon. It's just gone dark outside, and the badger had been indoors once again. He had come back, and he'd left. So he'd entered the cat flap, and he left through the cat flap. And this time we could see the paw prints going. He'd opened the dishwasher. He had stood on the lid of the dishwasher, or on the dishwasher, reaching the kitchen counter, and on his hind legs. And there he found a plate that was probably had fell on him or on the dishwasher, so that made him afraid and scared, and he had probably left therefore through where he came in, so through the cat flap. Sorry, I'm just gonna change the music. So he was back again, and once again all the cats were safe. And we were so lucky and so happy, but we thought, what are we gonna do? Because this creature is such a beautiful creature, but he is big as a small dog, and I'm not talking about Chihuahua. It's a big creature, probably 3 times our cats, one cat, or 2.5 maybe, but it's a big creature and they're strong as bears. So we said, what are we gonna do? And apparently this is something that's quite common in other countries, but in Sweden for them to come indoors is not very much heard of. So we called the council and we tried to get hold of whoever could help us. And of course, the first numbers that we got hold of and that we could talk to were hunters. Well, they were all hunters actually. We wanted some advice on how these creatures, how the badgers usually, well, what the schedule is for them. They're not a schedule, but how they behave and what we can do to make him not want to come back. Since, yes, we would love to make him a friend. We would love to keep him, to be there with us. We love every creature. But we read up on it, and we actually saw an article where someone tried to, and we shouldn't say this about all of them, of course not, but it is in their instinct, is that someone tried to take care of a badger from being born, or not them being born, but the badger being born and raised with a dog, alongside a dog. And it all went well until one day the dog decided to take the badger's treat, and the badger simply sliced him open. The dog, he just sliced the dog open and continued to have his treat as if nothing happened. So, as with cats, they are not loners because they can be very, very gentle and they really have their cuddly times, as we've read up on. But as with a cat, as if they get bored and think this is quite enough, thank you, the cats will warn you, the badger will kill. So, or in the instinct to do so. So you really need to be respectful towards the creatures. And most of the hunters that we found wanted to have them dead. They wanted to shoot them, to come out, hunt them down, and kill them. And we said that if that's the only option, then we really have no choice. But we would love if there was something else we could do. And most of them just laughed at us, asking that question if there's any alternatives, until we found a number to a hunter who said that there's no reason for me to come out because they probably gone to sleep through winter. So really, what you can do is just move the cat flap. Just move it so they can't reach it, because badgers won't climb, or they won't, if you build something for the cats to jump up on or to climb up on, or to get some height, the badger won't do the same. So you can just move the cat flap to someplace else on the wall higher up, and they won't get in, and so they will get bored and find someplace else. Hopefully not another home though, or another home for them, but hopefully another building in the vicinity. But so we just moved the cat flap, but it took us a week doing this, because we didn't know what to do at all, and we didn't sleep because we heard the badger trying to get in during the night. And if we really wanted to, they could just open the cat flap up. It's just plastic. They could just smash through it, cut them with a claws, and just rip it right open. And then it could just push everything else aside. So we were a little bit hesitant on if we could sleep or what we could do. So we had an exhaustion week, but at the end of it, we got some help to realize what we could do and have it done. And it was a very simple solution, but it was tough to know quite. But it sounds so simple, but in that moment when this happens to you, you're not quite, or we couldn't really, it was too much going on for us to comprehend it, I think. So that's the badger story. We haven't seen him since we moved to Calf Lab, so we'll see what happens. Then yesterday, Bembus and I almost blew up. Literally. And I'm laughing because we're still alive, so that's a good thing. Um, but it was really scary. We have, I think you've heard the story of the tractor and our lawnmower, the tractor, and how we can't get it to work. And how we wanted some plumbing done, and we needed the tractor in help of that, or in aid of that, in preparation for that. Actually, just to mow the lawn so that they could paint, and they can paint the grass on where there are some electricity or water in the ground going in pipes and such, so that they don't break them, so that no one gets hurt or that nothing happens to someone else's property, being if someone a company has some electricity going through us, through some electricity lanes, I want to say now, underneath in the ground, it's still their property. And if that were to break because we're digging and don't know where quite to dig, it's not so good. So they want to come out and realize where those might be, and then paint the grass or put in some flags of some sort for the then plumbers, that they're not plumbers, but the entrepreneur that will help us do this. So we wanted the lawnmower or the tractor to start, and it's been fixed, but it's not fixed. So it's been to the garage, but it's still not starting, unfortunately. So yesterday we got home late again, not as home, but it feels late, or not as home, not as late, but it feels late because it's being so dark when you come home in the evening. And we wanted to try to get it started, and what the garage said when we called them up was to try with starting gas. I read up, apparently it's the same word, it's starting gas. And we wanted to try with that, and we done before. But yesterday the temperature and both the tractor and the canister and all of it, the room in general, was very moist. So as you can imagine what happened, and it was a first for us, but both the canister and parts of the tractor caught fire, or the plastic on the, not even the plastic on the tractor, it was just the gas caught fire on itself, so you could blow it out easily. But the canister caught fire, and that could have been it. That could have exploded right there and then. It was scary, and I held the canister. So it was my fault trying a little bit too much with the starting gas, and because I didn't really know what I was doing, because it's a first for everyone, right? And holding it maybe too close, because I was trying to get the gas go into where it was supposed to go, and that was a small entrance hole. So maybe I probably held it too close, giving it too much of the starting gas at too high of a rate. At the same time we did this, as Bembus tried to start the engine to ignite it, so it caught fire, and I held the canister when it happened. And because of the gas, the starting gas being so, well, it is a fire hazard, and because there is a gas, because we didn't know what to do when this has happened, Bembus acted quick, and he blew everything out, and he said it was probably just the gas burning. It hadn't caught anything but itself, but we didn't know what to do. Are we going to leave the tractor here? Are we going to bring it outside in case it explodes? And if not for the tractor, what do we do with the canister? No? What do we do with this can of gas that could, like a firework, just go off, we thought. So we called Jonathan's mother, and she not laughed at us, but she said that this happened to her a lot. But not that the canister caught fire. But she said if the canister caught fire, it would have exploded immediately. So we were very, very, very lucky, because it didn't do nothing. I held it, And as the human I am, when it caught fire, I dropped it. That's what we learned to do, right? And even then, it was still intact. And we were so, so lucky with that. So, since you saw me last, we've now got a Discord server. We've had a badger in our house on 2 separate occasions, and a third time he tried to get out, to get in, but couldn't. And then yesterday we almost blew up. So, yeah, I'm just happy to be here. And then it is also quite a lot going on emotionally as well. So. I just want to hang out with you guys. And, well, that was a story. Really. But Pepper Cries, how are you doing? I saw that you joined Discord. It's beautiful. I think it could be a really good idea, really good shout for us to be able to hang out. And for your session, like I said, just so that you caught it alright, that I will come back to you via email, and I will email you probably after this stream tonight or tomorrow at the latest. No problem. Because the donation is, or because of the account being connected to Twitch and to the streaming service, I couldn't see your donation, or I simply didn't see your donation before I started the stream. That's why. So how are you doing in chat, guys? Do you have any stories? Any badgers? Any explosive canisters? Simply life. It happens so much out there all the time. Can you imagine? And you have that feeling, I think it happens to everyone, where you just realize that everyone, and that being so many people, are living, and not just people, but creatures, individuals, are living their life right now. And take on that, add to that all the different dimensions and energy. I mean, it's just enough thinking about everyone that we can physically see. Everyone, all this busy noise inside our heads of what is happening, what we are processing, what we are seeing, what happened before, what we're thinking, what we want, what we don't want, what we are inconclusive about. Just imagining so many people going through that at the same time, just now. It's and so many things that can happen, that happens right now. How many people pass away, how many people are born, and how many people are living their life. It's amazing. And I truly think there's time for everything. And as long as we are alive, I believe that we should be, and that we should really be. We should see what life's about. And it really is easy. I had a client yesterday who said to me they were very disappointed. It's someone who come to me for a long period of time, and in the beginning it was very, it really changed them. They could feel it, they experienced things they hadn't experienced before. And then as they continued to come, they got used to this, right? So yesterday they were disappointed because they had thought of achieving something themselves that, well, that's not achievable, or that is achievable, but not when you try to do it. And this about being open to the universe, about being part of the universe, and we believe that we have. And they said, I'm trying every day, all the time. I'm trying to be open. And I say, that's the problem. And it's a tough one, it's a conundrum, because we have to try to set our mind on something, but it's also when we try that it's more difficult to reach. So it's really interesting. But what was so fascinating about this was that they were so disappointed. They were lying down, and we were trying to go through a specific healing session, and they thought that they on that part they couldn't really, they gone into this, the learning curve that goes up, 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 and then it goes down real low, lower than you were before, and then it steadily goes up again, but at a lower pace. As psychology call it, the learning curve. And we were down, 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 and they couldn't see that this was part of the process, and this was really, really, really good. And usually I work with clients once or twice, very, not over an extended period of time, but this client really wanted to have that, to go through that process. So yesterday was that time when we reached a real low, which is a real high in the process, right? It's so, so good. And they were lying down, feeling like nothing worked, and were so frustrated, and then they sat up. And they just looked at me and they said, I feel nothing. And it didn't say that it was like a sadness or a grief, or that it was, a frustration or anything. It was just, was this all? Was what they said. I just got this feeling. They said, is this all? Is that it? And I just looked at them and I smiled and said, that's life. Life is just that. It's just is. And we can make it so hard, and we can make it so easy, or we can make it into a real roller coaster. But what it really, truly, when it comes down to it, is, for us in this society, it's us spending our time. And it truly is easy if we want it to be. And I said to this client, first time they came to me, I said, because I got the question, how many sessions do you think I need before I feel well, before I'm alright, before I'm healthy and happy again? And I said that you're free and welcome to come here for as long as you want to. And there's a reason that you choose your path. But if you would like to, and if you want it, and if you would be ready for it, from your point of view, you could be healthy, happy, and well right now. And I say it's not that easy. If we want it to be, it is. At the same time, if we decide that it's not that easy, it's our decision, and it's really important to follow that, to understand, okay, it will take time, and that's fine, for it's a reason for that as well. But when we feel happy and content, we will always have something that's not right. If we had everything, how would we move forward? Even when they said, I feel nothing, I just feel this is it, they still had the frustration, they said, of feeling just that. If we had nothing we wanted to change, what would we do? I think we'll always have something we want to change. Because if we want to change something, I talked so much about this before, guys, that if we want to change something, then that is us seeing us. And I said this to them as well, because they said, I'm not letting myself do this. I'm not letting myself be open to this as I want it. I'm not letting myself have it as I want it to be. And so I said, beautiful. That is beautiful, because then there's a reason for it, and you're looking after yourself. You're looking out for yourself. Why am I saying that? When I'm the real obstacle, when myself, in my reality is the real obstacle for myself, how can me, as someone from outside, come in and say, beautiful? Isn't it the worst thing? Because I will follow myself around everywhere. I can't get rid of myself. Isn't that the worst enemy to have yourself? Well, you know what? It's also the most beautiful. Because if you creating this, you in you also know how to turning about. Wasn't you persistent that feeling by keeping reinforcing it? The feeling of frustration, you mean, or the emptiness? Because they are trying to keep hold of the frustration. But this is something I think is very common also. We are creatures who like to know our surrounding, and we like to evolve around our surrounding, and we get used to things because that is how we function. If we can get used to it, and if we know just this is how it is, then we can focus on different aspects of it, right? And that's what we want to do. So for them to keep the frustration is the most important thing. And what is funny, keep trying and try and nothing happens, is because you try too much. Yeah, I believe so. But you know what you do then? You just keep trying. Or you do something completely different. I gave them a challenge and I said, I want you to try this. And they said no. And so I said, why? Why not? Fine, but why not? Because it's not fun. Okay? Then I asked them, what is fun? Nothing, they said. So why not try this? If you try something that is far out of your comfort zone, or something that is maybe not even that far out, but you might see it as being that far out, it's still part of your life, it's still there, you know? If you try it, something that you haven't done before, or something that puts you in a position in where you can't quite be used to things anymore, there's something new. That is a beautiful opportunity to meet yourself. You can't blame your surroundings if you don't know your surroundings. So if you put yourself somewhere new and try something completely different, you will get to see you. Because that is the only thing that you will recognize. Of course, there will be things that you will recognize. Of course, there will be things that reminds you of other things, and we will calculate it all together. It's how the brain works, and it's nothing weird about that. There's really nothing that is completely new to us. But if we experience it as being new, putting ourselves in a situation that we probably feel a bit uncomfortable with, because it is new in how we perceive it, then what we will recognize is something that we sometimes miss to recognize otherwise, because we're so familiar to our surrounding and to our relationship to our surrounding. It's us. And that is beautiful. And they actually took my advice. Then, of course, there's a reason why I may say things that sounds completely out of the blue, but then when you come to think about it, it really comes down to the root of where you are. I have a client who wants to revisit their childhood and do it in such a way that they can always grip onto it in negativity, really. And I told them also try this. That might sound so out of the blue. And then it's quite interesting because that specific thing or that specific activity that I asked them to try is actually directly connected to parts of their childhood without them saying it to me but not realizing they do. And I'm not talking about energy transference now. I'm talking about actual words. When we are occupied in thinking in some to focus on some topic that is of most interest to us to get through, we will use words to get there. And those words we don't always recognize, we don't always acknowledge as having had said. And I don't need to read. All I do is not reading your energy or telepathically. I do that too, yes. But when you've talked, if you're a person who likes to talk, you will talk so much more and say so much more with your own words than you might realize that you do. And I like this. Even when you talk to someone outside, the client's counselor situation, when you're simply, or interaction, when you're simply talking to someone. I think I talked about this before. As a medium, people expect you to pick up energies and only do that. And sometimes people say, oh, how could you know that? Oh, it's because of your ability. And I love being able to go down into myself or sit down in the chair or whatever it might be, this feeling of, okay, you know what? Truth be told, you told me that. And they can't remember that they did. Or maybe they said that in a different way of what they thought they did. They explained it to me because of me being observant, maybe. I was interested in the conversation. And therefore, I could say that, okay, I know these things, not because I'm picking up on it, not because there is an energy telling me this right now, because you, with your own words, actually told me without thinking about it. And it's so important, and rather than reading energy, reading people and listening to them. Yeah. And I love this. It's something that I treasure so much, is when, because I love reading energy and using telepathy and all of this. I do that in my profession. But to actually listen to, because there's a reason also that psychologists want you to talk, right? Because we want to hear your point of view. I shouldn't say we. As I said, I just call myself a psychologist. I'm not. I just went into that perspective. I apologize. But I would imagine, I put myself in their shoes, and that's why I'm saying we. I'm sorry. What I do is not medical or clinical at any sense. Hopefully it's clean, but it's not clinical. It's just really important to say that. But I can imagine the reason for therapists and psychologists to have you talk is I can see the beauty in it for you to choose your own words. And in that, keep your integrity and really feel like you are putting on what you want to put on. Then you're showing more, of course, because we're all mirrors and all of this. But I can understand why it's such a beautiful thing to just listen, and to listen and then give perspective. Now, some people are more comfortable with coming to me not having to talk. And I think that many of them people are more difficult in situations with, for example, a psychologist or a therapist. And there's other ways to reach them, but some people think it's really helpful to then come to someone who can read them without you using words. And for others, they simply want to talk themselves. And I think it's such an important part of it. And I'm not this person who will exclusively only say that I read energy, or that I have this gift of hearing or seeing something that someone else can't, because I don't. I might be observant, and yes, I might be connected to other dimensions, but we all are, and we all do. We are part of it. And the more human my profession gets, the more joyful it is to work. It's just part of what I do, yeah. I listen to you and I listen to the energies. But I can also see in this the beauty in you using your own words. And I will not run over those words. Sometimes I must confess to this, and I read, or I didn't read, I saw on YouTube a video about empaths and different types of empaths, and this Hyoka empath, I think it's called, that can sense in this way. And they said in that video, then I haven't researched quite enough, but their perspective was that this Hyoka, I think that's the name, I think that's what they're called, will interrupt. They will interrupt you. And they will do so not for being mean or the purpose of thinking that they have something better to say, just because they really feel the need to get something through to you, to help you, to aid you in that moment. And to talk over someone and to run over someone's own words is something that I do, and that I felt so ashamed of, because it should be part of my profession to always listen. And sometimes I feel I simply interrupt. And so when I heard about this being quite common, oh, that was good. I've been so worried about this. I'm not saying, okay, that means I don't ever have to think about what I do. No, I still have a great responsibility in how I act and how I behave as a human being. And as a fellow human, we should listen to each other, and you should be able to use your own words. But I do interrupt, and I do this in my sessions, and I know I do. And to hear that the reason for it being common is the same reason as I feel. It's the simple feeling of there is something that the universe or me or you yourself or wherever the energy comes from, there's something in this interaction that can really help you right now. And it feels like it's in this second. I think that you can resonate if you work with energy, or if you're simply observant, or that you like listening to people. It can really be this feeling of I need to get this set in order to help you, and not help you in a way that I want to be better than you and say you have to do it my way. This is more a feeling, it's more of an intuitive feeling. It's more of an instinctual feeling, almost like a motherly feeling, but for friends or for fellow humans. And to hear that this is common, a common trait, it means a lot. Happens to you sometimes, yeah. Well, it does. You know, you get this feel. Sometimes you interrupt because we don't pay attention to others, because we might be tired or we're so into what we are doing. But this interruption is like it's a calling. It's like I want to hug the person in front of me, but the hug being a specific word, or a specific message, or a new perspective. And when I don't do this, you're very observant, yeah? And when I don't do this, you know how it is. I've also sat in, because sometimes clients, and I'm talking about clients now, really do need to just talk. And I had one client coming in, and it was for a healing session. And they said, I want to talk to you first. And so I said, okay, we sit down and we talk. Because my office is better suited for talking because it was what we started this company on. But I also do healing. But you can definitely sit down and talk and have a conversation. And this person really just wanted to talk. And they started out the session, wanted to get it off their chest. And they wanted, in this case, to use their own words. So what I could do was simply to sit and listen because no one else would. So I just sat there and I listened because that's also part of my profession and part of me as being a human being. But then the time started to flow and they got stuck in repeating themselves in how sorry they were. And I'm not saying this, they were not apologizing, but they felt sorry for themselves. And I'm not saying this because this was immediately my reaction to it. I'm saying this because that was their own understanding of it when the session ended and they had not gotten their healing. And they said, I came here for the healing, which was a very specific healing. It's a client that comes to me quite often, and they have a very specific healing that they do in order to just relax. They have a space, a place where they go. It's almost like a meditation for them. And it's also during sleep for this particular client. And they said that they had waited a week to come back. On coming back, they had waited and waited to be able to come back, to lay down and go back into this magical realm of theirs. And so I've set everything up and they come in and they say, I just want to talk first. And when they realized that when the times ended and the sessions ended, they got very disappointed in themselves because they realized what they've done. So what actually happened and why I let this happen is because I understood that this was something that had to happen, because there's always a reason. But it was fascinating in how, because they started out just wanting to get things off their chest, and so many people do, and we should be able to. So that was fine, but then they started to repeat themselves over and over, going back into themselves, feeling sorry for themselves, rather than see the bigger picture. And it's not a bad thing, feeling sorry for ourselves. And I talked about this a lot, because there's a reason we do it, and it's beautiful, actually. But they themselves felt that they repeated themselves over and over, and then realized this when there were no time left for them for the healing. Now, you might feel that I did not do my work as a practitioner, in that I didn't then interrupt them, right? And said, okay, but now let's do this. I felt this really had to happen. So they got what they had to say off their chest, and then they realized that when it was off their chest, they were still tugging at it, as we do. So next time they came, they simply said that, okay, we'll talk, but then they came back into, okay, I can hear what I'm doing now, let's continue instead. So it was really important. But like I said, also when we do go back into ourselves, there's a reason we do it. And some people also use this universe, and I'm talking about universe as if it's not part of it whole, which it is, but for some reason the universe is something different. It's another realm into which we can tap to open ourselves up and be grounded, I want to say, because some people feel that way. Some people feel, I got this purpose on earth where I need to be greater, grander, spirituality. Sorry. I want to open, I am this master of the universe, some people feel like. And in these cases, and others as well, sometimes meditation, healing, and all of it that we do even having readings, sessions, astral projections, whatever it might be, for some people, this is a way to flee and to leave ourselves behind and to imagine ourselves into another reality. Just as with every other addiction, I'm going to say now. Why? How can I say that spirituality can be an addiction? And how can I, as a medium, say this? Simply because it is part of everything. And anything we do, we can get hooked on. Because it gives us a special feeling. That little something that we can't find probably in ourselves at another point, or when we do something else, because everything we feel comes from within. But sometimes we are in a place and in a space within ourselves that we feel that the only way we can achieve this is from this particular external situation. So meditation, healing, spirituality, and all of it is part of everything. And for that, it can also become an addiction, just like anything else. And just like anything else, it can give so much to so many people. But sometimes it can also be too much. It can be a way for us to hold on to something, or it can be a way for us to open up to something new. Or, and I'm not saying that holding on is particularly bad, no, but we can get stuck in viewing it as it. I have had clients, and this is actually quite common, with people who see themselves as spiritual people and who want to open up and practice these practices. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is beautiful, it is just part. But I have also seen when those practices are because they feel they can't do nothing else. When they feel they can't handle themselves in any other situation. I've had a client who guarded herself in meditation. So even though she went into deep meditation, or not deep, but meditation or healing, she would still try to control herself within that space where you are free to just let loose, to just be you. She was still controlling. And I see this happening. I see this. I've had more than one client that actually uses healing and meditation a way to flee from themselves. And I'm not saying that this is not good in that sense, because it's a part of everything that happens, and therefore there's a reason for it. And me myself, I know when I work, that makes me feel better. So I'm not saying it's bad, but just like with everything else, we need, I believe, because there's such a grand world out there, we need to do different things. We need to focus on different things in order to feel happy, because we get used to things, and when we're used to them, they're not triggering those senses in our brain, or those chemicals, or whatever it might be. When we get something new, when we get thrilled about something, we chemically react, right? Because we're human. And that makes us feel good, and we are built to do so. We are built to feel that way, I believe. Then, once again, if someone wants not to feel this, there's a reason for that. But I believe, generally speaking, that we should try different things. And we can get stuck into one thing, and it's going to be a beautiful experience. Yes! But if it is beautiful, and if there's part of it, it can be part of it next to also this and this and this and this and this. And to say that we can't, that we're not enough, is so common. So How can we know something if we don't try it? And I mean this. We have so many people feeling this way, almost everyone, I imagine, that we're not enough, that we don't know. How can we know something that we never tried? Yes, we can connect to the libraries, we can connect to other people, and we can see that information. But really, even for me, even for a medium, isn't it quite fun to experience it brand new? And from our point of view, right here, right now, there's something beautiful about it, isn't it? I'm just gonna check chat. A good example of how that happened to me was telling to a friend if not trust someone you consider close because the person wasn't. It seems because I could notice things and attitudes he couldn't see even despite they were so clear. Um, oh, yeah, or being observant, yeah, and really reading energies there as well. But yes, because also the energies in that you can see also in your friend's face, right? And how they talk about this person, and then how they act and what they do. Because what you can see as being observant to someone else is what happens when they're not longer looking at each other, right? And that can't the other person see. So that's quite interesting. Um, Anything can be considered spiritual as long as it's good for us and our soul. Yeah, indeed. But I believe that everything is spiritual, and I believe everything is logical, and therefore it has its downs and its ups, just like everything else, right? I know I share this with you, but I was so happy at that time when I had someone visit who just wanted to see what are we doing, and I explained to them our business and how I view the world and how we want to, what kind of a message we want to share through our business. And they said to me, "You are so deep and so logical." And I had never heard those words together in a sentence like that before, if there's not a not in between or or something. I've always had that I'm deep, but I'm too deep, and therefore I'm not logical. But when he said that, it really made sense to me. And so, yes, everything is spiritual, everything is logical, and therefore, what I do, I'm just me, and I'm just using my personality in my profession. In that I'm observant, I'm curious, and I learn something from you as well, right? It's a beautiful interaction, and I'm privileged being able to be part of that. Oh, Bembus in chat. I'm not sure he can hear us, but he's in chat. Yes, do join our Discord, guys. We might we may not always be streaming because of everything that's going on, because we are human, because of exhaustion and because of emotional struggle, but also because I got clients and I'm so happy. I love what I do. But where you can always find us though is on Discord. And on Discord, we have launched different channels and we are discussing in the community. And do feel free to express yourself on what we would like to see. So right now we got a channel for general chatting. We got a channel for sharing our arts and crafts. I love doing that with the community. We got a channel for energy readings. And this is something that we really need to be careful with and to proceed carefully in, because I want to be able to be here like I am now for answering questions and doing energy readings as I do here and now, but in text on Discord. But I'm not sure about the environment in there. There's also we also want to be able for community members to be there for one another. So it's called Heart to Heart. and it's supposed to be a very safe and warm space, but it is on the internet and it is open, so it's always difficult to know what will happen. But it is closed in a way that it's only community members, but anyone is free to join. There, however, you can definitely always, maybe even easier, find a way to actually book a consultation with me, to get in direct contact with me. You can always send an email, but on Discord it might be even easier to get a hold of me. I will always check my emails, but Discord I've got rolling um, all the time, even when I'm home. So yeah, not going to work too much, of course, because I still need some time off. But it is definitely a way to reach us. So do join our Discord. We also have a channel that is called our drawing board, in where we want to start up, discuss, and make projects together in the community. We would like to make some music and such. So yeah, I know Per Chris. I saw you were one of the first joining. There are very few people there at the moment. Still amazing and beautiful to have, but it would be lovely if more people can join and we could have a way for this beautiful, beautiful community to interact in this way. Yeah. So, guys, anyone got any questions for me? Some energy readings you would like today? Pegasus, you and I are going to have a one-to-one reading. But if there's anyone else who would like some healing, some energy reading, how does it work one-to-one, you mean? Sorry, I'm just having some coffee. Yes, I usually use Skype. Is the easiest one, but I've also got WhatsApp or Discord, but I've never used Discord. It is a video meeting, you and I. I've got Zoom as well, and you can choose whether you would like to be on video or not. But I will be there as I am now, but it will be just you and I. And also with voice is what I'm hoping. So I would love to hear your voice, even if you don't want to show you. I would love to hear your voice. And if you just want to type, that's fine as well. But I usually use, like I said, I usually use Skype or WhatsApp also. But it depends on what suits you. And it will be a short session. I always say that, but it takes the time that it takes. And yeah, so it will be just a video conference, or not conference, video call, just you and I. Oh, you thought it was via email? All right. I will. Why I said email was because Sorry, I just reacted to the music. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna return your donation. When you donate, I send you an email asking if you would like consultation, and via email we can then decide on how to go about it, what platform we would like to use, or such. I do take energy readings per paper, meaning that you send your photograph to me and I write an energy reading, or you send just your name and I write an energy reading to 1 to 3 pages. But because of legal reasons, this is something that we can only provide to our clients in Sweden, unfortunately. But if you would not like a video call, then of course we can find something that suits you. We can have a chat then, in that case, for example. It's what feels right for you. But it will have to, I have to provide it live, so to speak. So it has to be something that I do at the same time as you can take part. Short readings, how long are they normally? For you, Paga Cries, I would think approximately half an hour. But it all depends, of course. We would like to see the readings being 15 minutes to 20 minutes, but they end up being half an hour approximately, the short ones. And you can imagine what happens when I got clients for longer sessions. I just love what I do. That's my problem. But I'm trying to keep time. Yeah. If I could do just what I wanted, if I had the ability, because I have to survive in this society now, and of course we can always do what we want. It's a bad way to say that I couldn't, because I definitely can. But how I would, in my dream world, have it set up, so if there is any way that that can be done, what I would love is to be able to work for free and to take sessions for as long as they take. But then, of course, cutting it up somewhere. It's just how I'm programmed, I guess. Any possibility doing it via chat? Definitely. We can definitely do that. We can have a private chat on Discord, perhaps, if that would suit you. We are looking to create our own chat forum on our website, but our entire website is still it's still getting developed. So, but Discord would be private, right? Will it feel safe enough for you? I'm just gonna ask once again so I know for sure. You wouldn't like some voice private message, yeah? Okay. Same escape. I understand. No, that sounds good. We can do that definitely, but we can. I will come back to you via email so we can discuss proper when we will do it and what works. I always want it to feel safe for everyone, of course. So it's always up to the client what you feel suits you. And I would love to be able to do energy readings via photograph, also for international clients, as I do with national. But it's a little bit tricky with the law, and so it's not illegal, of course, though, but we will have to handle it differently. So that's why it's easier. Okay. Do you want a chat via Discord because you said, or would you like a voice chat? Chat. Okay. I will send you an email and we'll see when we can do it, when it suits you and suits us both. Sounds good. Sorry guys, I really need to drink some more water. You know what I thought that we could do? I want to be able to set up. I know I said this before. Oh, that sounds good, right? It's just water, I promise. Look. After the stream today, I won't be able, unfortunately. What I said was that I can send you an email after the stream. Was that I meant? So we can get it started, so to speak, on when we'll find a time slot. But we can definitely look at it now. If there's not anyone else who would like to talk and have a reading here live, we can definitely look at time slots now, and we know, or I will get back to you via email. I just thought because there's not so many people here that we could get it done, but I think it's easier via email. You could maybe send me some time slots that would be suitable for you, approximately how it looks for you. My work hours when I'm in the office and when I'm available will be during the whole day. Okay. So I'm available Mondays, Wednesdays often, and some Fridays. And that goes from 8:30 GMT plus 1 till 4:30 p.m. So 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. But I've got some bookings and such, so then maybe I can send you some time slots that are available that you can choose from. I would love, we got a booking system for national clients, for Swedish clients, we got a booking system. I would love to be able to have that for international clients as well. I'm not sure quite how though, because we got such a good service provided for us, for our Swedish clients in this, this platforms that helps us with booking. And unfortunately, they do not provide it for international clients, so it's a shame. It's a shame, but I still do really good. Bird Life, good morning. You're just getting your day started. Oh, good morning. Such beautiful energy coming from you today. You're glistering, aren't you? Oh, I feel so heavy. What are you talking about? You know, the heavy heads. Beautiful energy from you, really. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day and that you had a good night's sleep. Poet Love also shared with us a beautiful, beautiful little individual on Discords. I love the energy coming off it. Have you continued with him? Those shorter readings, are they similar to the ones you do on stream or a bit more in depth? Usually they're more in depth, but it definitely depends on what my guides feel suitable and our interaction, of course. But usually they are, yes, more in depth or more personal, at least. Yes. But it all depends. I'm just listening on my guides. It could be also healing. It all depends on what needs to. And also, you can, for these sessions, you can also ask me questions preview. What's it called? Before we start, so to speak. I'm not a fortune teller, but if there's something specific that you want to talk about, because it being such short sessions, usually I pick up on what we need to talk about, or that is how I'm supposed to work. But sometimes maybe you want to feel secure in that this is actually what we talk about, and you have the right to talk about what you feel, like we discussed. But also, like we discussed, I might let you know how I perceive it and what I think the time should be about. So it all depends a lot on the situation. Just more curious to get one and see what comes out of the session. Me too. I love doing these. It's easier, of course, on video call when we can see each other. But just being you and I, also in chats, I love doing those. The best, of course, is when people come here. And when I say this, usually I sound so creepy because I say I like to touch people. But I like the connection, you know, and I like to be here physically. is what I mean. But via chat or just, like this, it's totally fine. The forest spirit ornament needs a name. Oh, you messed around with his outfit a bit more, but nothing has been finalized. Guys, head on into Discord and check our Creative Corner channel there and give Borrowed Love and a beautiful forest spirit ornament suggestions for a name. And join our Discord. I just got some real strong energy from you today. From that forest spirit ornaments. Oh, I think it has to do with past lives for you, Bird Love, that you are, that you know, that you had of before. But there's definitely a past life coming through for you. You know, I joined a group on Facebook. I talked about this before, about light workers. That was the title I wanted to find. There's a beautiful man called George Lesos. Sorry if I pronounced that name incorrectly, but he's a beautiful spiritual light worker helper. I think he calls himself. I want to use his words, but he helps light workers to find their way and to find their purpose, or to find the path to their purpose and to make the best of it, so to speak. And in that group, they discuss light workers as being someone, or a light worker to be someone who, and this is the community discussing it, who've been hunted and scarced and outlawed and killed and hurt and tortured through so many lives because of their practicing and, or the practices, I should say, and that this life is finally the one where we can find our purpose, and when we are free to live as who we are and for we stand for. We can have different opinions on this, but it's really interesting in how they view that, because definitely part of it, and for some people that is definitely right. I believe so. And from you, Poet Love, as you know, there have been lives real tricky to get the message through. You were like talking about painting on glass last month. Yes, you've ended up finding some clear glass eyes in a thrift store, and you started using them with sculptures. Oh wow! Yes. Oh, that makes me so happy. How are you finding it? I'm sorry, by the way, for babbling on. It just came through, Poet Love, and I think this is something that you know as well. Having been someone who worked with the spirit realm when it was considered that for at least one other life, in one other lifetime. And this, I feel, is really connected to your spirit ornament that you are creating. But what is also beautiful, oh, I shouldn't say anything more. Is it okay that I share this? Is it okay that I talk about this, my friend? Also, thank you so much for inviting me this beautiful channel on Discord. That's a lucky charm, right? You had to use tweezers to hold them while you paint. It's been a really strange experience, but you've been enjoying the learning process. You get so much creativity tucked up inside of you. It's beautiful that it's starting to breathe. Oh, there's so much energy coming through. Would it be okay if I shared what I've got for you? Bird love. I know I always talk so much too, but there was so much coming through. So what is beautiful about this spirit ornament that you are creating, that is really coming through strongly, and it is beautiful as it is, but what is so fascinating for me is how it's connected to what was and what will be. What I believe, we can really discuss this with dimensions, right? With different dimensions. What was before, what have been, what is, and what will become might be the very same thing, because time is relative, right? And with your spirit ornaments and your forest, spirit forest ornament, your forest spirit ornament, I really feel the connection between what was you, who was you in a past life, what you've experienced in past lives or parts of your soul been experiencing, and really the future from when we are long gone, the two of us in these bodies. And to have that, I'm really getting it through. It sounds like something that that I make up, because it sounds like something I fantasize about. It sounds like a book or a story or something wishy-washy, but I truly do see this when you mention the ornament again. For you in this process, it's been like this valve, or this, yeah, between what was once and what will be long after. And this could definitely be, if we're looking at it as psychology or a secular way, or with my mindset, I've just been watching Outlaw. That has to do with time traveling, so it could definitely be from there. But I think there's also reasons. So there's a reason I've been watching that, and there's a reason you coming in, and there's a reason for this feeling. But I do trust this intuition in this. It really feels like a gateway for your past life struggling to make, and I'm not saying ends meet in a financial way, but to actually just stay alive in your practicing, to when we are long gone and there are so many robots and nothing. Because I see timelines splitting up. So I see one timeline where there could be where the Earth survives and we got all these robots. It's like sci-fi, But I also see a timeline when there is absolutely nothing and it just starts over again. And I don't know why I see this in your ornament, but it comes from the fire of what happened before, as you practicing witchcraft. I want to use that word. And the space of the nothingness that is to come. Oh, welcome back, Dagger Chris. I went to eat some lunch. Was it good? Did you find anything good to eat? Anything tasty? So it's a very strong message coming through with that, Bolev. But then, going off of that, when you then sit and create this, it's the universe inside of you. And I feel this crunching, heavy feeling in my forehead and eyes, keeping so much locked away inside that in your head, and I've seen this so many times. It's so common, but I see this especially with your face, your facial figure, or your behind your eyes, your nose, up your forehead, your cheeks, mouth, teeth, so much locked up inside of here because we try to control things or we try to stay on top of things. And with this creative side that you've always had, but boy, are you finding your way really into it, slowly but steady. You find your way to pour all that tension out from here through your heart into what you create. And I'm not saying what you create is full of tension. No. I'm saying what feels like tension here comes out as pure love. Even if you might be frustrated on those tiny things, not not following what you want, not doing what you want it to be done, uh, and these things that we clip off that goes everywhere. I just see this, there's a human frustration in that. But when you really focus on what you create with love. And maybe a part reason why I talked about painting on glass for you, maybe that has to do with you mirroring, giving so much into what you create that one day you might be able to, in one project, see the reflection of yourself, literally, in the glass, seeing what you actually do. And I know not every glass pane is a mirror, but I get this feeling you pour so much into it without really knowing that you do it. I know that you're conscious, but you do it so much more than you could imagine. You've actually been writing your own guided meditation to help release blockages in your third eye and few on your minor chakras. You've also been cleaning the craft room so you can dedicate space. Beautiful. But I'm not feeling the tension being surrounded your third eye. That too, but that tension comes from more of everything that you've had to meet, they had to experience externally, in that we don't know how to process it internally. But we like to show that we know exactly how to process it. We like to, and I know many can resonate with this, we feel like the people around us expect us to behave and act in a way that shows that we know how to process anything. We believe this because we take on the adult role a little bit too early. And I think many of us can definitely resonate to this, especially when we feel we got such a purpose in our bones. Everyone does. But especially in this case, when we are born into, and I usually don't talk a lot about past lives, but when we're born into this tension from before, and into this, when we are observant in ourselves, it's very, because we can talk about people, Pegacrace, you talk about being observant for other people, being observant about our surroundings. We can also be very observant in ourselves and knowing ourselves a little bit too much that we don't actually think that we know ourselves at all. And we are betraying that in a way that other people expect, or we feel that other people expect us to then handle anything. And sometimes that handling anything is actually to not handling it at all, which is very confusing. But we're always set on seeing what others portray us as being, that we are the ones portraying that sensation and that feeling, if that makes sense. And that feeling of always trying to achieve what you can't achieve because you don't have to achieve it, of that keeping track of yourself and your every muscle, your every thought and feeling, because others, in a way that you believe that others want you to experience yourself, even if it might not concern them at all. In some ways, of course they do, because we're all connected, but we feel we are so much more. This is tough love thing. I'm gonna say now, we feel we are so much more important in other lives than we might be. Then again, we're even more important when it comes to reality than we could ever imagine. But it's a circle, I believe. Okay. And I talk about this with my clients. I believe it's a circle. I got the question, why am I feeling? I got a question for a client, and this is the opposite. Okay. Why am I feeling like I'm the god of everything? Like I know best when I know nothing. And I say it's a circle. You feel, I'm not talking about you now, this was to my client. I said, you feel like you're a god because you know, or you feel like you are a small child and that you're not worthy. You feel overworth because you feel unworthy, because it's a circle. And what is beautiful when we're in this, if we take it from the other side, then thinking that the other people will perceive us as someone who can do anything, but we feeling ourselves that we can't handle anything. So we can do anything, but we can't handle anything. What is beautiful when we get in this position, I'm doing this is weird, right? Is that because we've gone the whole full circle. That's not a circle, but I wanted to, okay, there. Because we've gone the whole full circle, we can also understand people who are on all and every spectrum of it, so that maybe one day we can see that we're actually in the middle and that everyone is. And the beautiful part of this is that everyone is doing this, right? And if we can understand that, so beautiful. So for you, beloved love, for you, don't feel afraid to just breathe. And you don't, because I get this feeling, I want to say that you can ask people. I want to say, don't be afraid to ask people. But at the same time, you know what? Yes, of course you can ask people, but what you can do is to breathe and to find a space. And that you find that space going through all this, through your heart and out in your creativity, I think is so beautiful. I just wanted to share that. Mm-hmm. But love, oh, you're talking about meditations. Mm. Sasuk, can I just say this? If you are still here, Sasuk, €75 is for a full consultation, which is 1.5 hours. I'm doing free readings here on stream. I also do short readings of the amount that you decide, €1 and up. So they're free. These streams are completely free. And if you donate €1 or whichever amount you feel works for you, because I know we all got different paths in our lives, right? And like I said, I would love to do this for free if I could, but this is a company. So why it's 75 euros is a full consultation, you and I, and it's on video or non-video call, but it's for the full 1.5 hour, just you and I. We got shorter readings that are for whichever amount that you decide €1 and up, and we got these free readings. And you're always free to join our community and to be part of this beautiful community that we are. And we can chat, we can talk, we can have fun together. And that's 100% free. If you are still here, Sasuke. Or it's free anyway, but always. Can you get a stream reading, Beggar Christ? I can see if there's anything for you, definitely. But because you got a session coming up, I'll see what my guides say. I'm just gonna check, but I love. We'll make a point to work on art today. Yeah, hopefully come up with something worth sharing on the Discord. Everything is worth sharing, as long as you feel it in your heart that you want to share it. But everything is worth sharing. Can you resonate with what I said, Poetliv? Because it's such a beautiful energy coming through, and you are walking such a beautiful path, and that you decided upon continuing this path. Can I say I'm proud? I'm more than proud. I'm so happy, truly. Simon said Mayan. Said Mayan. How can I read calm energy over the internet? I believe it will be this will be a very short explanation because we've gone through it so many times, but I believe that we're all connected. We all stem from the same source of energy, which means that we are also all connected via energy frequency threads. And in this, we're also connected to the universal library, where everything that happens to everyone and has ever happened and will ever happen is stored. And we are all connected to that library. We can all access that information. So how do I do when I do this? I am very close to my guides, and whoever or whatever my guides are, if they are what I see them as, or if that is a projection from my own mind in order to make sense of it all, or if there are angels, it doesn't really matter because it seems to be working. So what I do is that they are my librarians. I start off using my gut feeling that we all got, our intuition, and I just sense something. And then I ask my guides, is this something that I can continue on? Is this a thread? Have I found, because I said that we connected via energy frequency threads. Each and every one of us has got thousands upon thousands of such threads. And we work as radios. It's radio waves. Maybe that's the easiest way to explain it. Via my guides, or what energy it is I work with, I work as a radio, tuning in to your frequency. It's as easy as that. And you can do the same. Everyone can do the same. Oh, Love Banga, thank you so much for following. Love a Banga. Welcome to the community. I hope you will enjoy your stay. Join us on Discord if you feel like it. It's a beautiful way to us to interact even when we're not streaming. Oh, there's things happening in chat, sorry. The way the Wi-Fi works, yes! Radio waves, really. And the Acacia Library, if you had that word before, the Universal Library, it's just like the internet. All information is there, and we can all access it. Magic, if you want to call it that, yeah. Oh, it's part of everyday life. Stepping away for a moment to pour some coffee. Oh, coffee, yes! Cheers! The bag is so much more than a bag. Yeah, and it is just a bag also. It's a bag and it's more than a bag. And it is everything that you experience it to be. But it's also just a bag. But can't that life energy travel through the unnatural inventions of internet? I would agree that you can tell a person's energy from an aura, etc. You know, when I started out, I never would have imagined that it would work via the internet. It's true. I thought that the frequencies would disturb one another just by working with a computer, actually. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my microphone. I apologize for the noises. I thought that it would disturb, that it would outsource one another, or how you would explain it. But you know what? It's the opposite. It is so beautiful what has happened and what is happening. As a medium, we're used to working with energies as they are connected to the client, right? To work via the internet is so beautiful in that the first thing that happened, the very first seance I did, a energy connected to one individual went in and helped another one from chats. Energies met that might not otherwise ever met, and we could join in in this community. This was actually when I worked via Facebook before, having sessions there. But it was such a beautiful thing that energies that might not otherwise have met, of course they would, because there's a reason for everything, but to be able to see this, to experience this, and have one energy, a past loved one for one individual, work with another individual and come together to find new perspectives and to help that individual. It was so beautiful. I love humanity. Oh, I am part of humanity, right? And I love experience it. Yes. Do you experience static from electronic devices? You had some people due to their energy can interfere, sorry, with devices. That happens, yes, but not with my. I haven't had it happen with my aura specifically. I've had it happen with energies that I can tell, with energies moving in other dimension at the same space, creating things to happen, and also with electronics in that way. What I believe is important and that I learned from a very beautiful, I gotta think, yeah, it was Setsa. I can't remember her last name now, but it's a beautiful spirit worker who I took a very short course with as a teacher, or she was my teacher. But it wasn't a one-on-one, and it wasn't it was something that had been pre-recorded, so to speak. But she spoke about this, how we want ourselves, our auras, our energetic fields to be so large. We want to, so that means that we open, right? And she spoke about how we can actually pull it in and keep it as close as we need. And some people might need it that large, yes. But she spoke about the importance of pulling it in and realize that we are good as we are, and we don't need to take up more energetic space than we do as human beings. And we can be calm in simply having it a little bit closer to ourselves. And I'm thinking maybe when we interfere, or when energetics interfere with electronics, which is also a part of frequency, right? Maybe it's those auras, those energetic fields interacting with each other, colliding, maybe. I don't know. Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? It's an experience, right? It's something that happens. I'm just thinking. I love thinking about what it could mean and what it is, but it all depends on from what perspective we look at it, right? But it can definitely, it can happen. It's all frequency. And what can happen to radio stations, you know? All of a sudden you can have it so that you go in between stations and it jumps back and forth and you get this static. Maybe it's as simple as that. Who knows? But I love theorizing and thinking about what it could be. So maybe it's just that. Do you use sunlight in your workspace to help elevate autonomous frequencies? I don't. I think I would love to go into protecting myself better. Yes, especially in because I'm simply human as well. But I think because of the exhaustion and because of my emotional struggle, I think that it's part of my journey because I need to learn, right? As we all do. Well, I need to learn, I want to learn, and I love the experience. So I would love to go outside my comfort box or my what I hence know and start working with what other people found and to take that in and to meet the two and to help myself to protect myself is something that I would like to research and go into how people do that and how it would be how you would do it. So if there's some crystals, um, if there is some herb, some stones, definitely I think protecting oneself is something that I need to work on. We all got things that we would like to, that we know that we first step we want to do this. You know, we want to change because, like I said, if there's change, there's curiosity, and if there's curiosity, there's life. I like that one. I like that saying. And with change, I also talk about frustration and sadness and grief and depression because all of it is due to something have been changed or something wanting change, right? You wanting change. And I think it's beautiful. Shinga is a crystal that I don't think I would have picked up for myself, but it's been an invaluable ally. Ah, okay. It might be something that I would definitely look into. Yeah. I just thought now, I just got this. I'm sorry, Pegcrest. I know you asked for a reading. I'll see if I come back to it. Otherwise, we'll do just one-on-one because it feels like my guides want to do it just the two of us in this case, or the two of us and the universe. That's the interaction. But I will see if I come back to it and if you're still here. But otherwise, we'll do it just you and I, if that's okay. I just feel that coming through. Um, what I felt I wanted to talk about, though, was something that I experienced. When was this? A couple of weeks ago. I might have already talked about it, but I don't think I did. For some reason, I do want to bring it up, though. And it was during a healing. And I like to experience. And in experience, did I say that? I like to experiment, is what I want to say. And in that, I mean, I love meeting new guides, actually. And I love meeting new perspectives from said guides and to do different things. And there's always something new happening during healings. And one thing that was very interesting was a healing I did where part of it, my guide wanted me to, or it happened energetically. The client was lying down, as they do during this healing, and was asleep. At the time, it was a sleep healing. And the energies pulled their chart up, the client's chart, like chakras, but it was like a it was a chart. You know, it was a map of the body with different. I think I talked about this, but I just wanted to bring it up again. With different chakras, small chakras connected via threads. It was like looking at a building chart, maybe a map over construction work or simply over the body. And what we could do in that, we could go in and pull the threads. And I usually work with pulling threads and bringing crystal light in, not using crystal, but I they're talking to me in a way that it is. They explain it to be crystal light when I do it. And with they, of course, I mean my guides. And here, the threads were so visible and over the body, and we could simply pull them, working with them. And it hasn't happened after, and it hasn't happened before, but it was such a beautiful experience, and I would love to work in that way. Because for me, that was actually also made it quite simple to do my work, and it shouldn't be difficult. You know, the chart was just there, and you could just see with colors the different small chakras, tiny chakras, had different colors, or they actually, in this case, had only two colors. They were either white or reddish, and the more red they were, the more crystal light needed to be put into them. And so we could pull, we could give, we could read, and we can pull them together, connecting the threads. And then it went down into the body again, and we could put in some bubbles of crystal light to help the process of keep building, especially parts that were damaged that would take some time to recover. We would put it in and would simply see all the threads connect together, and it was so beautiful. Mm. Yeah, that was beautiful, Faye Grace. That you understand. So, can you read me? I can see if there's anything for you. At the moment, they are talking about. I got my guide racket here, which means that there are people who are here simply for entertaining purpose of other reason, you know. There might be people who feel uncomfortable or feel that I shouldn't really be doing what I do. And I'm just going to say this, guys. To be skeptical is so important. And rather than making fun of me, you can make fun of me, but you may not make fun of the community. But rather than making fun of me or the community or anyone practicing this, I love having conversations about it. Because what is important for me, or what I love doing, is to see things from different perspectives. So to talk about how you experience it, and then I can share how I experience it, and all of this is something that I think is also part of the privilege. So many people of them who are part of our community today started out, or I shouldn't say started out, are still probably skeptics. And I'm so thrilled and happy for that, because I can see where it doesn't hold together in rational thinking as well, you know. I can see how there might be, I talked a lot about this, but I can see how there might be some psychological reason for me to experience and do what I do. I can see the journey bringing me here, and I can see how my brain could create delusions for me in order to handle situations. And for me, that makes sense. But also, it doesn't really matter what it is. And for some people, I just heard, yes, it does. Of course it does. But when you think about it, it seems to be working. And as long as it seems to be working and seems to be able to help people, I'm just thrilled being able to do what I do. I'm gonna read chat now though. Um, oh, I have a wonderful fiance. Thank you, but love for answering. I'm not single, no. Thank you so much. Mm. Okay. Uh, I just want. Oh, maybe I believe in polyamorous relationship. I couldn't even pronounce that. Sorry. I want to talk about this. I see you, Solteke, don't worry. And I do have Racket here though, so she is asking me to be careful and to trade carefully. So I'm gonna answer these questions though. If I believe in this, it's all right. Polyamorous, I can't even pronounce it. I'm so sorry. I For me, it depends of if we're talking about how I view it and what I will feel comfortable in, or what I will feel comfortable in other people being in. Because what other people do, as long as they don't harm themselves or each other, I'm fine with it. For me personally, I've got a telepathic twin who is not my fiance, and it is, I can say that it is sexual in a way, that too. And so in that way we already are three people in a relationship, if we can view it from that standpoint. Then it's important for my fiance to view it from his point of view and how he views it. But if you want to view it from that point, then we are three people. So it depends on how we see it. And if it would not be a telepathic twin, maybe it's a TID, another personality, or a personality disorder, a symptom of that, then it's still several people though, because they're still considered as um, individuals, right? Mm. Can you feel energy telepathically through the phone? Can you read my energy or sense something about me? Obey Caitlin, thank you for your question. I've got Salt Taker wants me to check if there's anything for them first, and then I can see if there's anything for you, and I will get on it. Don't worry. Gotira, hi. Okay, Salt Taker, I'll see what is there. And not personally, I always mean love. I am human, so of course I got other emotions as well. Right now, Racket is very close though to me. And when she is here, that means that we might not be, but I should trade carefully. And but I will see if there is anything. Okay. Okay. Now, like I said, being a skeptic is very important, and it's okay. And even if you don't feel like a skeptic, I'm still getting that energy. There's a lot going on, and this might seem. I'm just gonna say this for you because of you standing in that energy, and I do understand if this makes you feel that I don't know my job or that I can't. This is not something that exists, and maybe that is what you should believe in. But what is coming through now is that I will probably be very general in my reading for you because of I'm getting the notion of being very curious, being very cautious in this. There might be other reasons for it, but I'm just being very frank and honest with you at this moment. And because of Racket being here, that honesty for me comes from, or that caution comes from, for the sake of myself. She's usually here when, because I will not share, I'm not going to take this time to share it's not a sob story, but as a human being, like, sometimes we don't quite know what to do in life, and we don't quite know where to head, and that what we want to do, other people don't really seem to notice. Okay, I'm going into reading now instead. I apologize. Okay, I'm going to do that instead then. I wanted to say that why it was important for me to be cautious, but it went straight into a reading instead. So, Soul Taker, first of all, I'm seeing two different people, which is interesting because we talked about a telepathic twin before. This, however, has nothing to do with that. It has to do with something that we can all, I think, or almost all of us. I haven't met anyone who wouldn't resonate with this of feeling like, okay, in this way, it's more, okay, sorry. I would just to feel like we don't really know how to behave ourselves, how to showcase our inner world to an external world, right? So with someone, it's very usual that we are someone inside who we feel we can't portray outwards. Now, you are someone I feel that would disagree with me and outwards, but would agree with me inwards, the internal world. Ragged is still here with me, so I'm being very careful. I'm talking about a lot of different, so I'm not talking about personalities, but I'm talking about different viewpoints, and we all got them, so that's nothing new, right? In that. I do want to talk about university though. Yak Steel, hi, welcome, and Obey Caitlin and Husky Legs. I'm so sorry I missed you all. Welcome to the community. I'm sorry I missed that. Welcome to the new community. I hope that you will enjoy your time. So, Soul Taker, I do want to talk about university though, and I do want to talk about deciding what to do in life, about having people feel like having external forces trying to choose which side and having this internal. I'm going to talk about an internal darkness now. I'm going to talk about an internal darkness and I'm sorry if you don't resonate, but I feel that you might do on some level, because I feel this, that you got this secret life inside of you. And we all do, but sometimes it feels like it's really secret and that we can't quite share what is actually going on with us inside of us when we are sitting, because I see you sitting in a couch or sitting in a sofa and people are talking at you. It's not that they're talking with you, it feels like they're talking at you because you're so focused inside that it's difficult to go outside listening to or to understand sometimes even what they are saying, right? Because it feels like they're pointing fingers at you. Is this something you can resonate with? There are many frequencies asking me to open up now, so I'm just going to ask you if there's a Soul Taker, if there's anything you can resonate with, because I do feel like it's almost like you got this darker inner world that you imagine yourself having, that you don't want anyone else to think or anyone else to think of you having or think that you do have, or actually understanding what is going on. And it is nothing but, it's due to nothing else but feeling like no one really listens to you, because it feels like people are talking at you rather than with you. And I believe that that is something which is very common. And these forces of choosing side almost in society. And I think that and I'm not talking about doing illegal things or legal things, I'm talking about simply walking our path and doing things that our father might influence us on who he was doing, or what there's so many voices coming at you, And most of them are actually coming from inside, reflecting what you imagine other people having said to you before, because it feels, like I said, like people are talking at you rather than with you, because you're exhausted. And you're not exhausted in that way that you can't handle it anymore. It's not depression. I'm not talking about that. But it feels, I get a hard time breathing also because I talked to, I love having a lot of pressure here in this area. And for you, I feel the tension down here, shady place. Also in your stomach, in your tummy, and not feeling secure in yourself. In that way that you will probably, for me, it probably gone to that level that you wouldn't really want me to say that, because and it won't really resonate with you probably, even though deep inside that it will. And I'm not saying that if it doesn't resonate, it's you're wrong, I'm right. No, you're always right. It's not that, but I just get this feeling. So it's beautiful that you actually, even though you kind of jokingly want some attention, at the same time you really do want someone to listen to you. And it's gone to that I'm not talking about someone being, you're not someone who wants people to be around you at all times. I'm talking about simply having someone actually there, because none actually wants to be alone. And if you don't believe in not wanting to be alone, if you believe in I do want to be alone, then like I said to someone in the community before, you are still seeking to not be alone since you're here. And even if that sounds weird because you're simply, going through channels on Twitch, seeing where you can jump in, it's still an active step towards other people, right? If you are you still here? Shady place? You are? Okay. Soul Taker Place. Why did I call you Shady Place? I'm so sorry. I told you Shady Place. It really feels like a shade. You know? Uh, it feels like you want to put up a shade towards other people because you feel that's what other people done to you before. Does that make sense to you? But you're still seeking approval, which I think deep inside, but what I think is something that many of us can resonate with. So there might be that I'm going too far into this, but I do want to talk about the father figure and that particular choice in life, and how that puts others towards how they believe that you will behave, not should behave, but how you will behave. For me, this father figure is no longer in the picture in that way. I'm not saying because I'm not too in tuned, because I'm trading cautiously, as I said, but it could be he's simply not there in that picture in the same way that he was before for you, in how you perceive it or the situation, but it does feel like something happened before, and I'm just trading carefully. But what feels is that because of his actions and what he did and what he chose to do, that people are expecting you to do not the same, but they're expecting you to react in a certain way. Does this make any sense to you? Because it could be another energy that I'm picking up, and I'm sorry if I do. I'm gonna change music, guys. Hang on. Does it make any sense, Soltica? It is definitely you though. So if you don't resonate, maybe we'll come to you at a later time, at a later stage, but it is what is coming through. And that darkness inside is directly connected to that, I feel. And then trying to go outside, choosing direction in life. So what I want to say to you, it makes sense in a way. People want me to do what my dad does as far as work, want me to be in the family business. Yeah. Because I feel like it's something that happened before though, when you were young. But it could definitely be the business. Because to that, it also feels, but it is a great darkness directly connected there. And that could be the pressure building up. So what I want to say is that what you are facing might seem like a really tough choice on your behalf for you. And this darkness and this heavy chest, this heavy breathing, or this, this feeling of just heaviness, if that is an expression I can use. It is tough love now, but so take what is true. And if you know something, if there is something that they're not showing me, my guys, right now, of course you know yourself best, your situation best. But what I really want to say to you is the most thing that you feel and what you experience, you're not alone. And you know what? You can do it. And with that, I mean you can go out and you can do this, what you love. And a way could definitely be going into the footsteps and still, viewing on the other side all the things that you like, that you enjoy. They're talking about music. They're talking about university a lot for me. Hmm. If we can walk all the way, I usually say this, all the way that way. Imagine how far we can walk that way. But a new thing that came to me when we look down and we see the footsteps just circling around ourselves. I usually say this, but this one is new. Imagine how far distant that is that we walked. If we put it together, all those footsteps surrounding ourselves, walking round rounds. Mm. So all I want to give to you as of this moment, I think that I do have a meditation that I would like to do. We probably won't have time for that today because I got more people wanting energy readings. But I do have a meditation that I think several people of you would be good. It would be good for you. It's a very easy, but I think it would be really good for you and also for you, Soltika. Because I really mean it, that we can actually feel good just like that. And it sounds awful, I know, but all is due to perspective. And I believe in you because you're here. And I'm not talking about here in this community, on this channel, you made it. No, I'm talking about you're here in the world and you can do it. So walk the footsteps, because I feel half of you do want to cherish what is there. You want to know what is there through the family business, right? At the same time, you can still work on, and I'm getting music, a lot of music coming through, or whatever this more creative building side, or I'm not, they're being very cautious with me today, but all of this, it feels you don't really know what it is actually. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, they said you do know what it is. Then have fun with it, right? Does that feel alright? I'm still calling you shady place. I'm so sorry. It's just what pops into my head. I'm so sorry, you're shady. I like that name. Not that you are shady, but I like that name. Hmm. Does that feel okay? And I know it's very general. I know it is. But you know what? Most of the things that we experience is very general. And then that is tough love to say that. All these heavy things, emotions that we are feeling, how can someone dare say that someone else would experience it? Because we do. Just in different ways. Sorry, I just needed some water. Hmm. So Soul Taker, you're never alone. So beautiful, Gautier, that you said that. And it's so true. Does that feel okay, Soul Taker? And I would love you to join for the meditation. Join our Discord and I will make sure that I put up when I will do the meditation. Because I feel today we might not have enough time. We can do it though, but we'll have to see. But join us on Discord. All of you guys, feel free to join. Hmm. Thank you, Sofika. Thank you so much. Obey Caitlin. Your beautiful comments. Hmm. Okay, obey Caitlin. Does it feel okay, Soltika, if I move on for now? And then I would love to see you during that meditation, though. I think it would be very, very good for you. But you can do it no matter, you know. If nothing else, maybe it's just an affirmation that I see you and that you're not alone and welcome to our community. We strive for it to be a safe space for us to be us. Do so, Soltika. You're so welcome. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Gautiera. Same to you. Do you have for some reason something? Oh, you know how to make banana bread? Oh, I know how to make banana bread. Oh, I love you saying that. That was really interesting. I'm just gonna say this. I know Caitlin is waiting, but I'm just gonna say this, Solseka. That was an affirmation for me because the only time, well, first off, it can do it to my telepathic twin because he loves banana bread. Just saying. So that's not me though. That's my telepathic other. But banana bread immediately had me think of a parental figure that I had who put that same pressure on me. So I think that was a direct affirmation for that. And I'm not saying he's putting pressure, but that pressure is it gets from there. Mm. Okay. But my telepathic twin loves banana bread. Okay, obey Caitlin. Woo, 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 right? In energy. Let's go. Let's do this. Yes. What can you tell me? For you. I love it too. For you. Um, I'm just gonna say as it is, Caitlin. And this is probably also gonna be a bit, but for another reason altogether. But for you, I want to talk about the word sister. I just want to put a full stop on that. I want to talk about the words sister. And that could be in so much. But it's definitely about being part of something and being a part of a community, and then being put in a space where it feels like you're still part of the community. I'm getting sports of some sort, activities that we do together with others. I feel like a team. And that could resonate in each and in every way, because they're not showing too much. They want you to go in and feel it for yourself. But I feel like a team. I feel maybe sports, but some group activity of some sort, or it could actually just be family. But I do feel for some group activity, and I feel like being part of something. Could be someone else's frequency, by the way. I apologize if it is. But what is coming through is being part of something and still being part of it, but feeling a little bit on the outskirts or a little bit outside. Like we're looking at the others, we're observing the others. And here again, we're observing others more than we're observing ourselves, in that we don't really know what is in ourselves to observe. Does this make any sense at all for you? Obey, Caitlin. Because it makes me a little bit confused in this energy, because it feels like on one hand you resonate, on the other hand it is completely offshore. I'm just gonna try to see what they want. It does, okay. This activity is something that we've gone into because of wanting to try it. It could even be something that we've been part of for, okay, it's the same type of activity, but it's been in different groups or in different settings, or a similar type of activity as well. It's very general, as you can tell right now. I do apologize, but it's what they want me, it's the way they want me to work as of now. But it's, sorry, we had some spamming. That's why. I apologize why I got distracted. It feels, for me, Caitlin, like there's something we went into because we wanted to try it. And it was fun, And we tried it in different ways. And it's part of a group. And now we're still part of that group. And we're still part of that activity in a way. But we feel like something is all of a sudden missing. Is this anything that makes sense for you? Because it feels like it's same thing is happening like it's been before, but now it feels different. Do you understand? Thank you, Bempers. I apologize for what is going on in chat. Maybe this is why Racket was here before. So I feel like we're faced with a situation when we no longer feel like we belong in what we felt like we belonged in before. They're not showing me much, unfortunately. What they want to do, though, because we are usually up in this high frequency of really trying to do our best that is better than what we actually can do. And I'm not talking about in what we do, but how we are, who we are, because we want to keep it still here, whatever that is. It is that we feel is now gone. We don't know what happened to it. And we think maybe because we don't really know what's happening inside, maybe it's us that done something. Maybe it's us that has made some, because there's also a decision connected to this. That we've taken, that we've talked about taking, that has been happening, and in the same vicinity as this decision or this new part of our life going on, it felt like something else fell out. Not talking about falling out like arguing, but simply it feels like we maybe don't belong. And what my guides want to talk to you about with this, Caitlin, is that this is a good way for you. It's time for you. It's a good thing to see for you that it's time to actually sit down and listen to yourself. And you say, oh, I listen to myself all the time. You talk to yourself all the time. Or you're waiting to hear something from yourself. I want you to sit down and actually, for real, listen. Place your feet. I'm sitting the wrong way right now. We always up with the feet in the air. Sit down, our feet on the ground. You know, people talk about that all the time. We should have our feet on the ground, but there's a reason for it. And just feel where you are, who you are, not what you represent, but who you actually are. And you are beautiful in who you are. All this bubbly energy is beautiful, and all this sad energy kept in here are also beautiful. But it sits in your legs, doesn't it? It feels like it goes down to your legs when you're stressed. It feels like in your feet or ankles, up on your thigh. It feels all the way in your legs when you get stressed. And you also hurt yourself. Elbowing stuff is coming through. Maybe I'm completely out in the wrong direction now, but it is what is coming through, and that's quite funny. It's shown with a sense of humor, elbowing oneself, or not elbowing oneself, but hitting with the elbow. That's not the expression, but you know what I mean. And when you get stressed, it really sits in your physical body, and in your knees, in your thighs, in your ankles, in your legs, especially, is coming through. And then the emotion, because that is the motion, because we feel we have to be in it in order to keep it, right? But at the same time, we got this stillness in our chest that makes it sometimes, it comes back the other side and hurts around our chest area and on the back of our, up by the chest area on the back is what is coming through. There's loads of things happening in the body, but I'm just gonna check. I got a message from Pimpus. Yeah, I saw. I think maybe he can see this. I don't know. That's to him, for him. Okay. And you hit your elbows and knees all the time, and you do it with your stress 100%. Yeah. But they show that in a humorous way, that maybe you shouldn't. And I think you see it as a humorous way, in a humorous way as well. But you also got these bubbles that are a little bit more heavy in our chest. And it's time for you to listen to that voice, is what is coming through. And that might be difficult, yes. But if you want to sit in a meditation and still tap your feet, you may do that. You may do that until you feel you don't have to anymore. It's not about changing you, because then you will back on your feet again and hit your elbows and knees, and because it's not just stress. You're saying 100%, of course, but it's also who you are, right? A little bit clumsy, but in a beautiful way, you know. So what I feel is not about. It's about seeing who you are. You beautiful person, not what you represent, not which team you're in, not what, who looks up to you in that sense, and not how you want to achieve what you want to achieve, who you are. Because they're telling me how you so often run away from yourself in all that you must do. We want you to sit down and just be you, because you are, you know? All of this that's happening, it's always you. Scary thought, isn't it? It's always you. Anything that happens, you are there. So allow yourself to be there, because you are beautiful as you are. And like I said, if you want to go into meditation, tapping your feet, then tap your feet until you feel, I don't need to tap them anymore. And then going out of meditation, you may tap them again. I'm not saying change this for that. I'm saying explore who you are. And I'm not saying that in a sexual sense, as it might seem, or whatever it might be, spiritual, logical, whatever. I'm just saying who you are. And when I mean explore, I mean all this functionality that you got out here, meaning all this that you control out here. I want you to try to, what is going on in here. And I know that you tried that before, because they're talking about giving these tools before, but from different people, especially as a child. You can do this, you can do this, you can do that. I'm not talking about using these tools. I'm not talking about anything with responsibility in that manner, in that sense. I am talking about simply caring and be brave enough to meet yourself, because you are always there. And in whatever manner that might be. Maybe it is sexual, Whatever manner that is, I just want you to meet you. I want you to ask yourself, who is Caitlin? Not with all of these, or if not all of these tasks gets done, or if they exist or not. No, not without, not with. Simply, who is me? And if I don't know that, then that's the answer. It's part of me that I don't know who I am. Beautiful. What's the next thing? Oh, I like moving my toes. I like stretching my toes. Beautiful. Maybe do that just to feel you actually consciously doing it. You know all of these things. But this is a reminder. Sometimes tools that we are given and things that we're given when we're a child, I know for myself, my therapist said, sit with your feet in your ground. Do I do that? No, but sometimes maybe we should. How does this sound, Caitlin? You got a wonderful opportunity came through. You got a wonderful opportunity, and you got a wonderful energy. Just let it be all of you. And if all of you is partly not you, it's not. It's always you. But if you need to feel like it's partly not you, then do that until you don't need to do that anymore. Like I said, I'm happy you can resonate. Truly. So, like I said, tap your feet until you don't feel you need to tap them anymore. And next time you tap them, because it is yours life. Right? Same to you, Gotira. Thank you so much. Does this feel, if there's anything, Caitlin, it's an affirmation for you to sit down in yourself. And I know that we can fear doing this. And I know also the feeling of, why should I? I don't know what's me. I'm just following, I'm just being. Beautiful. But then let yourself be. If you're simply being, why are you afraid of seeing who it is that is being? Don't have to. So from my guides, your guides be talking a lot about your mother. But I feel that that's something, okay, sister and mother was just something they wanted to come through as a statement, just those words. And then the message simply being, hi, be you. If other people feel like they want to do something and you're not there, fine, you can ask them. Maybe that's not even, everything is a perspective. And if they're giving your space, if they're giving you space, if you're actually taking that space for yourself, then meet yourself. And maybe if you then realize why you did that or what is happening, because it's just part of life, right? Things changes. And what was it I said? As long as there's change, there's curiosity. And as long as there's curiosity, there's life. And with that change, I mean even when something's not changing, because then we won't change. It's just life. Like my client said, is this it? Yes. Life is simply it. We won't be here forever, no matter how grand the universe is, no matter how many lives spawn, how many lives we've got. We are simply us, right here, right now. We're giving this time. So let's enjoy it, right? Dead we can be later. There's time for that too. So let's just be us. And like I said, to be honest, to go into the roots of things, time in this, or I'm sorry, life in this, I was going to say, is simply us spending time. And I know time is relevant, but it is how we count our days, right? Days, hours, minutes, years, experiences. So spend it and be happy. And when can we be happy? Right now. All is due to perspective. No matter what is happening out here, we can always change this perspective of in here. And I know it might be tough, then there's a reason that it's tough. But when you come to that conclusion that, is this it? Really? This wasn't so difficult after all. Then we can simply change it. That has happened. Mom always tells me is to be yourself and find the people who truly like you for who you are. Yeah. So listen to her. And in that, listen to yourself. And you want to know something? But I know you already knew. But you want to know something? Each and every one of those individuals who are not part of, who you're not part of the circle anymore, they're experiencing, if not the same, very similar journeys. So let them be them and let you be you. And you can always ask, right? To share some experiences together. Have fun. Does that seem okay to you, Caitlin? You feel alright? Is it still this energy of bubbles? Because I love that energy. And you can still have the bubbles when it comes from your heart. And I'm not saying it hasn't come from your heart. It's always from your heart. It's always from you. But you know what I mean. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me give you that reading. You know what I feel like? Husky legs. Oh, Sotika, I'm gonna donate something tomorrow. Mm. Thank you so much, Sotika. Hey! We just had achievements done, guys! It just popped up. Yay! Thank you so much, Sotika. Truly. You can donate whatever you feel like, and you don't have to donate at all. It's simply as I know I say that you donate to get a session, and that's simply a thank you to donate. Uh, yes, you get a session, and yes, I love working, but it's also supporting us, I guess. Right? It's called a tip. We just love giving something back for it. So thank you so much. You do as you feel. And as you donate, I will get back to you asking if you would like also a reading one to eye. One to eye. I like that expression. One to one. So we'll see. Hi guys. Lemon flavored raptor, can I make a good banana bread? Where's all these banana breads coming from? Have you been hanging around in chat before? Because I got the question before from Salteka if I could make a banana breads. I love talking about banana breads though. Yeah, I did. Maybe it's my energy. My um, telepathic twin, yeah, loves banana bread as well. So maybe his energy is coming in. Maybe, or maybe I need some bananas. But I love that. Mm. Okay. I'm gonna ask a question now because I feel like Husky Legs wants a reading, and I would love if I could also do a very short version, or at least explaining the meditation of the pond that I talked about before. Maybe I didn't say specifically what it's called. It's called a pond. My guides are telling me that I might not. Okay, you know what, Husky? I will see if there's anything for you. They are talking about maybe I shouldn't work more as of now because of my exhaustion. But I will see if there is anything for you. It might be very general though. Would that be okay? You can always come back and you can always reach me on Discord. Guys, join Discord. Please do. We have a beautiful time there. Okay. Taking what you say to others in for yourself also. Yes, Goatee, we are very similar. Many people are, or we all are, actually. I usually say that, but what is happening external are situational situations may differ a lot from one person to another, but our inner emotional journey is usually very similar. And it's so beautiful when we can understand that. And also the external, it happens, we are similar. And I just think it's so beautiful. That's why I love this concept as well. I give a reading to a specific person, but others can also resonate. And that makes it so good for the people getting the reading that they're not alone. And for the people in community, the same feeling. Hmm. You don't? What you mean, Boaz? Maybe I just missed something. Or you don't resonate? Oh, it's alright. Okay. Husky. Interesting. I want to talk about houses with you. to talk about moving house or houses. They're being very general with me now. Yeah, houses. I want to talk about houses. I no idea why. Um, but it was the first thing coming through. I want to talk about houses and I want to talk about fish. I see this red fish. You know, this clownfish, right? They're not red, sorry. I see fish and I see houses and I see about the stability, or I see ladders. This is very visual with you. And I don't think that you are that, I don't think you experience those visions yourself. Maybe you're a very structured person when it comes down to it. You like putting things in order for yourself to understand it. For others, okay, your house is not in order in that way, you know. And you might be laughing a little when I say this, but you like to structure things in a way that you can categorize it, right? And therefore, for you, I see a lot of pictures, a lot of visions of specific things, materials, and yeah, pictures of that scenery coming through, which is quite interesting. So I will simply share what I see. And because of your puzzling, and I'm not talking about you are puzzling, I'm talking about how you like the puzzles and to put things together. We are going to work in that way today. Oh, I like this. This is funny. Where I give you the pictures uh, and you can see what maybe we can come together what it could mean. So I see a ladder, I see houses, I see goldfish, I hear goldfish, but I see clownfish in a pond. And I see, oh, I hear monkeys and all of this. Okay, so someone who was watching a lot of television, a lot of documentaries, perhaps. I'm just guessing now. They want me to, oh, I like this. I like to work in this way. I know that you may not because you want it structured and proper. So maybe this is the challenge, you know? Maybe this is the challenge for you because you want it so structured and proper and done in this way that I'm just throwing things at you. Could be a way for you to, it's a challenge, right? So I'm just, they want me to like to do this together with you. Uh, oh, your nickname is Chago, which means monkey in Spanish, right? I see. I just got directly into documentaries, sorry, but it's interesting because I think your life view is a little bit like a documentary, in that you like to put things. I'm coming back to that all the time, putting things in order, because people have told you that that is, or what people not told you, you specifically, but you researched into understanding that that might be a way for you to handle your way of thinking, which I think is so fascinating. And what I want to talk to you about is that when we focus, because you got these pictures for you and you got these categories, what was that pronunciation? But you got these stacks of information that you like to keep in your head of how people act, what you see, what colors, what emotion, not emotion specifically, but what you gather, right? And with that, you can hear that um, people feel like you're missing things. And I'm getting a tough time talking now. It's like I can't get what I want to say out proper. And because of that, I'm trying to understand what is happening around me so I can concentrate myself into understanding these, to understand where I'm at, what is going on, and how I should, well, not should, but how I could behave. It's very, maliciously, not in a mean way, but in the way of analyzing. It's a very analyzing way of viewing the world. So what I want to say to you, and I'm happy you can resonate, Husky, but what I want to say to you is that when people are telling you that you're missing out of things because you're focusing on other things and you are trying to make your way in the world, because there's always so contradictory information or data for you to understand. Some person is saying something and another one is saying something else, and research saying something else, and you're feeling something else, and it's very contradictory. What I want to say to you is that, first off, I can say it's fine. And you know that. Or you go, oh, I thought you were going to give me some actual advice. It's fine. You are perfect the way you are. But I can understand the frustration. I've got a lovely Bempers is perceiving the world, pursuing the world in a very similar way to what I feel like you are viewing it. And it can be frustrating because he's focusing on something which makes it so that he's missing out on other things. So, what should we do about this? Well, it's easy. It might sound really difficult, but it's easy. And you might feel it now because I'm pulling this it's a lengthy session. I'm not telling you what you want to hear. That is awful, right? That's how you will feel, and that's how you feel with everything. People are not getting to the point at the right time. So maybe you can observe what happens the way to that. Why are people not quick-minded? Why are people taking their goddamn time to have for things to happen? And why don't they do what they said they were gonna do? Or what other people were saying that they were gonna do, or how they would react? You know what I want you to do? Just like with Caitlin, feel where you are. And I mean, don't look at where you are. Feel. Feel your feet on the floor. And I know that sounds like that. Why would I do that? There's no reason to do that. Do it. Breathe in that and where you actually are. Because you are as much of a part of everyday life as everyone else in your surroundings. You are as much of a part. You are visible. You are there. You are energy. You are vibrant. You are vibrations. You are visible. You're part. Because I think sometimes it feels like you're so in yourself that you could turn transparent. And I'm not talking about everyone can read you, that you simply vanish, or that you can feel that. And therefore you go back into yourself and you start doing these motions or these things that others then reflect upon being something that you shouldn't be doing. So what you can be doing, and there's nothing wrong with doing all these things, but most people do so in private, and for you, you also do it in private because you feel you're shut off from the rest of the world. So it is private for you. However, you're still part of that community, you're still part of your surroundings. So, what I feel, simply feel your way where you are. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the wind in your hair. Use your sense in your skin. Because you like to put things in order and to structure, try to feel what your skin is feeling. And I'm not saying all of the blood and the muscles and all inwards. Again, outwards. What is actually here around me? And start very easy with your feet on the floor. And practice this for yourself. Just when you go up in yourself and you're starting to calculate all these things that you could be doing, yes, it's wonderful that you're calculating. It's wonderful. You can save the world. You guys being in your head and with this intelligence, you can save the world. Everyone can. But you know what I mean. It's beautiful that you're spending time that way. It is efficient, yes. And it's also not efficient, yes. But it's also just you. And I do feel like you want people to understand you, or you want to understand why other people are acting the way they do. So in starting with that, start to simply feel your feet on the floor and interest yourself in how that sensation feels like, what it feels like. And then go up and just feel what your body feels like in the room. And then go out a little further and wonder, what is some feet away from me? And just feel. I'm not talking, you don't have to start touching things. Of course you can. You don't have to. Just simply observe what is actually here. Okay? 10 feet away. What is over there? Maybe that was a little bit of a jump, but you get the feeling. Start close. Expand. Just like you do when you categorize, just like you do when you're thinking about all these beautiful things that you can create and that you can fix. Think about this as fixing it, and if that's easier. So start with yourself, with your body, then go out 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet. And when you feel comfortable, you expanded your bubble. It's okay to be this open then with the energy. People will start to notice you in a new way, and it will still be frustrating. That is natural because now your energetic field is large. But let it be that for a while. And then, when you feel even more comfortable with, okay, do I know who's here? Do I know where is what? And if it feels I have no idea, I'm going in, I'm shutting in myself. Okay? Go into yourself again, but start the process again. Feel your feet. Don't go to your head immediately. Feel your feet. And then do the process again, and it will be quicker and quicker each time. What is actually around me? And if I can't touch it, look at it. Feel it, sense it, hear it. And go further and further out. And then, when you start feeling like, okay, now this is a quick action for me. This might take time, real long time. And I know that you will see that's not efficient. But see it as a problem then that needs to be fixed. If that is easier for you, and if you want to do this, then do. Observe what is going on, what is here. And when you feel comfortable in that, then you can start to simply breathe. Okay? Because you know what is also here? It's not just a floor, it's not just a table, it's not just a neighbor, it's not just a fly, it's not just the light, it's also me. And all my wonderful ideas. But now I can maybe share them. Or maybe hear what other people think, or what other people are feeling also. Or don't go to feeling if that feels too, far-fetched. But you're also here. There, the energetic feels comes closer to you, and people will be more comfortable and more warm and embracing in the room that you're in, and in your interaction, because you will be. Your head is part of your body. It's not just the head. You can live there if you feel like it, and you can be in it if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you wish for others to understand you and for you to understand others, you can always try this, right? What do you think? Oh, you just touched the table. Are you okay, Husky? You know all of this is with love. You know what? I'm gonna ask you a question. A little scary. What is scary? Because I feel you want to talk now. And that is beautiful. What is scary for you? And also, Soltake, thank you. I'm sorry that you felt yours were genuine. General. I hope all is genuine. But it's all differs from one person to another, one interaction to another, one relation to another, and one time to another. I hope that you sincerely can feel my love, though, as a fellow human being. I don't know, it's weird how true this is, I guess. Well, if that's true, it's alright, Husky. If that is true, you know what else is true? Then the feeling that I believe you is true, and that you are worth it. You are worthy, and you are not making things difficult. If you are, then you're doing it for yourself, and you know that's a good thing, because that means you can also know deep inside how you do it. But maybe try this. But it will take time, yes. And I'm not trying to change you. But I feel like maybe there's something you can try. And you're always welcome in our community. And just being here, I'm so happy you are. Daring to listen to me babbling on, you know. Truly. Thank you. Oh, welcome, Gotira. Then try, Husky. Try it. And you can come back and say this was awful or help. I don't understand. Then come back. Do, yes, do it. I believe in you. Touch that table. Yes. It's really that simple. It's maybe real hard, but then it's hard because it's simple in its difficultiness. You know, it's simple in that it's hard, because then it's just hard, and then that's what it is, and then we'll go through it. Oh, poet love. This community is so beautiful. All of you guys who are new here, come join us on Discord. I am human too, and I am experiencing exhaustion. So I may not always be streaming, so do join us on Discord, and we can keep on having this beautiful conversation and just being us, you know? No strings attached except for the energy frequencies, right? And just as I said, that Streamlabs posted the Discord server. Perfect. I think it's time for us to end the stream. I'm gonna explain to you what the pond is. I'm sorry, I'm reading your chats when you're talking to each other. I just love seeing that. I hope that's okay. Mm. And sharing, you do. And sharing. So I'm gonna share with you. I know I've done before, and I don't have the time. And my guides are asking me to stop working. First, I want to ask you, Husky, if this feels okay. I take it as it feels okay, and that we'll do this now. But if there was um, something else, or if it's okay if I move on for now, and you are so welcome to be here. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. I would love to say your name who just joined. You have, but and I would if I wasn't streaming. I got this weird, I had this, I was very prude when I was younger, and then I got older, first of, and then, or I'm still young, but and then I collided with my telepathic twin, and he just don't give a F, you know. And so at home, I talk a lot and I just say whatever word because it's just words, right? But on stream, at least for now, I feel like I want to keep my mouth a little bit. I don't know, there's nothing wrong with words, but sometimes I just want to be, for now, I want to keep it that way. Sweet. That is human. Fabian! Hi! We are just finishing actually. Oh, I'm so sorry. We're actually just finishing off. Um, but we are on Discord, you know? I wanted to tell you about the meditation because this is something that you can do in your spare time on your own. I would love for you to join us, of course, and I would not recommend doing this when you are completely alone in that sense that you then have no one to go to afterwards. I would love for you to be able to have this community or a family member or just being in the vicinity. I just wanted to say that, to have that said. But it is also a very easy meditation. And what it is about is it's called a point. It's something that I was channeled. I want to say challenged. Maybe I was, but it was channeled to me. And I've just come back to it over and over again because I think it's so beautiful. It is an angel meditation, which means that we are working with angels when we do it. There might be that I think there will always be a guide with you, no matter when or how you do the meditation. You may not notice them, but they're always there. But this is a guided meditation in the literal sense, if you understand what I mean. But it's totally fine if you don't meet the guides or if you don't feel anything or everything is as it should be. But of course, if you feel like it's too much or you feel like this is not okay, or just trust yourself and make sure that you have someone that you can go to, no matter who it might be. And if you have no one, if you feel like you got no one, then please do join us when we do these meditations, or simply log in into Discord and simply write a message that I just did upon help, and we'll there for you. But it shouldn't be that tough of an experience. But of course, we will we will feel it in a different way, and we will react to it in a different way. So, oh, go have something to eat, Fabian. Take care. The badger, by the way, is alive, but not in the house, and we put the cat flap up higher. I just wanted to say, so that's what happened. But we didn't have to kill him, so I'm so happy for that. He's sleeping through the winter. But yes, if you no idea what I'm talking about, you can go rewatch the VOD of this stream. I talked about it lengthily before what happened. We had a badger in the house, and then Bembus and I almost blew up. yesterday. So go watch the VOD if you want to know the story. And if not, then join us on Discord. Maybe someone in the community can tell, or I will, of course. It was not a clickbait, I'm so sorry. Or is that even a term? Anyway, I want to talk about what a pond is. It shouldn't be too tough, but we never know how it will react, of course. So what it is about is that you sit down as you do, or in a comfortable position, and you close your eyes if you feel like it. Some want to have them partly closed, but close your eyes or keep them partly closed. I saw an energy washing through, swooshing through behind me in the camera. Okay. And okay, it's for my healing guides to explain this in a certain way because there's people who I want to explain it in a different way. Okay, okay. So you sit down, you close your eyes, and what it is about is that I want you to find yourself in a clearing in the woods or some sort of natural landscape. And in that landscape, there is a body of water, a pond, a waterfall, something though with still water so you can see the reflection in the water. And what it is about is that I want you to go face the water, and in that water, floating towards you, there will be associations, pictures, things floating towards you. And whatever those are, however horrid, however joyful, however weird, however indistinguishable, whatever they are, I want you to let them float towards you so that they come in front of you, and I want you to meet it, whatever it is, greet it, thank it, and let it go. But I want you to take your time with each and every object that comes to you. Meet it, greet it, thank it, and let it go. And then the next one will pop up. For you, assume this is not a meditation we're doing right now. It's simply an explanation of what you can do in your own time. And then there will come the next object, and give it time. As much as you feel that you want to. You meet it, you greet it, whatever it is, because it's part of you. And believe me, however horrid, or however weird, or however ordinary, whatever it is, it's simply human. It's simply who you are. And this is a way for us to simply let it go and to let it be part of everything that is us. So we meet it, we greet it, we thank it for the experience, and we let it go. And then, if it comes to that we see our own reflection in the water, we do the same thing. But we meet it, our reflection, we see ourselves, we observe ourselves, we give us that time. Then I want you to breathe in all that love. Love yourself, because you deserve it. And just breathe it into your heart. And just relax, just breathe it out. And usually that is the end of the meditation. The goal for the meditation is actually to have the water clear so that you can see your reflection and then end the meditation that way. You can also end the meditation by when you breathe it in, when you put it in your chest, in your heart, that you put your hands together and you simply just breathe, exhale as you let them go. And you'll feel this. You might be a little bit dizzy. That is totally alright, as long as you don't feel you need medical attention, of course do. But it should be fine. This is a very easy, a very short or long. You stay as long as you feel you want to. You take as many objects as you feel that you can. You don't have to see your own reflection in order to leave the meditation. You can do it as many times you want to, how often you want to, but just make sure, just like with everything else, take some breathers and um, don't do too much like everything else. You know, just feel yourself, with yourself in this. And once you've seen your own reflection and breathe it in, then let it go a long period of time before you need to do it again. But so the goal is for you to get the water cleared, so to speak. If you don't, that's fine. Some people may have thousands upon thousands upon objects. That's fine. Give it the time. And if you feel it's too much, you know where to find us. Or go to a loved one, because the affirmations and the associations and the pictures and the feelings and the emotions are there. And they're there for a reason, just like when dreaming. And they are emotionally attached in you. So whatever they are, meet it, greet it, and let it go. And if it won't go, then just try it again. Give it the time you need. And if you feel this is so wrong for me, then you don't have to do it. Then you can leave. Then just stand up from the waterfront. Just inhale and exhale and be back to here and now. It's fine. I don't want you to do this if you feel like this is not for me. And you can always find a community and make sure that you're not alone in that, so that you can go to someone if you feel need be. And us you can always reach. But maybe not on the second, as you understand, as I'm a living, breathing human. And also exhausted, so maybe sleeping. So, but hopefully when more people join the community, there will be someone there for you, and if not, there will be soon. So I hope. This is a beautiful meditation. It is a tough one, but it is also it's a beautiful one. And for some people, this is guided by angels, and in that you can hear them singing. So beautiful. However you experience it is your way, and nothing is right, nothing is wrong. It's simply what it is, and it is perfect as it is. And if you feel you want to change the beautiful curiosity, then ask yourself what is going on. You know, if you feel that strength, and if you feel my strength is to not handle this right now, okay, just come up out of it. I will be doing this on stream, this meditation. And but I think it was a beautiful one to share also for you to try. I totally trust my guides in having channeled that to me and to give it out to you. But of course, nothing we do we can know 100% that is accurate. It could be from my fantasy, it could be my brain, we don't know. If it feels right for you, however, you're so welcome to use it. And I think it's beautiful, and that I can help. Can aid many people. I will go and do it, definitely. They actually asked me today, my guides, I should do the pound for myself very soon. So I will. And before you ask, I've guided the pond many times, and in that also being part of it. But as a human being, no, I can be honest in saying that I haven't experienced it in my own. But I will definitely do, and I still believe it's a beautiful, beautiful message and a beautiful meditation from the angels. So if you feel like doing it, do so. Okay. How do you feel, guys? Does this feel okay? I love that stream today. I'm gonna have to end now, though. You have any questions before I go? Join us on Discord and you can always talk to me. You okay? Everyone went quiet. You too, truly. Thank you for all the beautiful energy readings today. It was beautiful to be here and I hope that you will enjoy the pond. And I will make a video of it. It's just that due to me being human and experience exhaustion, I just haven't gotten the time to do it. But I will, and in the meantime, we'll definitely do it on stream. And I can also put it up in Discord in text if you would like. But it is truly, if you believe in my work, if you believe in the energies readings that we've done today and what you've seen before, and if you believe in me, I truly believe in my guides and my angels. And this meditation is one of the strongest and most powerful channelings that I've gotten. Thank you so much for following Acid Cats. Welcome to the community. So you guys, thank you so much for today. Have a wonderful evening, morning, night, wherever you are, day. Enjoy yourselves and join us on Discord and let's continue there. And have faith, someone wanted me to say. That was a direct message. I believe. Take care, you guys. Okay? See you very soon again. Don't know when on Twitch, but follow us on Discord and you'll be notified. And we're all there. Take care. See you very soon. Bye for now. Oh, the love.